Okay. A lot of us have known welcome to the call first, guys. You guys, a lot of you know me, some of you may not, but I'm Michael Huey, my wife Lisa. We live here in Florida in Clearwater area. And Stacy was just asking me about the weather. It's been incredibly warm. But you know, I've had 3 distributors this week that called me that were Pro 5s in my business, have not been tying into the system. Their checks, they lost, one of their checks was about 75% down because they weren't tying into they weren't tying in, going to meetings, going to trainings. They knew there was a 3 months grace period on the changes. But what I tried to show them is look, had you done that, your check would have went up from what it even was before. Like, I know my wife is above me and her check's going to go up even more now because of this adding. And then there's another one that goes on at Pro 5 that's going to come here very shortly. So if you don't know what's going on with the compensation plan changes, you got to tie into the system. This is, and what I want to show you guys something really quick that I want you guys to learn from. Let me just find where I did with it here. Hold on one second. I got to get rid of this. Just bear with me 1 second. I have some stuff that I kind of wanted to share before I go into the laws of growth. Okay, here we go. Oh, I lost you guys somehow. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so can y'all see the desktop now? Somebody who's not muted?
No.
Can you see it now?
Wow, yes.
Okay, you can see where it says LifeVantage, main menu, training center. See that, Mike?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay, so let me tell you guys about this real quick before we get started. If you have not done this, you have to do this. This thing, guys, I see why if Bill Gates or if Steve Jobs was still alive, Ryan Goodwin would be working for Apple. The guy is a flipping genius. This new training center in your back office, you log into your back office, it pops right up on the middle part of the screen. You get a certification. I started some of them today. You can see I'm on the prospector list. I'm gonna be honest with you. I had downloaded LV Pro or LV Move and LV Share, and I had not downloaded LV Move or LV Pro. Oh my goodness! You can monitor your whole entire back office, your volume, your customers, who's close to Pro 3, who's close to rank advancements, all from this app. So I've learned, and then this certification, and they're gonna talk about this at convention, and they're gonna recognize people who went through this certification. It's gonna take you some time to do it. You know, I got through, I think, about a third of it today, and I'm blown away by it. I'm literally blown away by the information that is on this this system and this training system. So if you haven't done it, you go back in, log in your back office, and you'll see it comes up. And guys, the new logos and stuff, there's all kinds of new stuff in your back office. You can actually you can order apparel now online. There's just so much stuff that you guys can do. So I'm overly excited about what they're doing with this and how they're going with this. So let me hold on 1 second here. Okay. All right. Now, can you guys, Michael, can you see the law of the pain stuff there?
Yes, everything's clear.
Okay, good. Now, you guys will have to bear with me just a little bit because I took a lot of notes on this, and Janice and I are going to split up the law of reflection and the law of pain, and I'm going to talk about the law of pain. And guys, do me a favor. I'm going to download this and put it on Facebook so that you guys can get it and print it off the week before. I'll put Janice's on next week, the one she's going to do. But guys, take some notes. This, and I can send you this after we're done. But guys, this course, and Lisa just got done doing her Bible study, and she's here with me. She's on the other side of me. But
Hi.
Can you turn it down? And so this has been very rewarding, and thank you for Janice. I'm sorry that there was some technical issues last week. Lisa and I were at a concert. This happened to fall right. We thought it would be done, but we didn't get out of there till after 10 o'clock. And so let's just get started on the law of pain. One of the things that I really, really, really enjoy is I've enjoyed John Maxwell so much. I just really have. He talks about, he says, let's go over the first thing. He says, good management of bad experience leads to great growth. Good management of bad experience leads to great growth. And then he said, every pain introduces us to ourselves and to how we get to know ourselves. And then he said, I like this. He gave an extension of this, which I really like. He said, pain lets us meet ourselves and discover who we are. John said he has these things called pain files. Okay. And so he said he doesn't keep them on, but he calls them pain files, and he said they're in his heart. And I really like this. He said, pains that you learn from. These are things that in your heart, as they come up, you learn from them. And he said, pains of change. I think of myself, being in the fitness industry and changing and doing what I'm doing now. A lot of people think that, they'll just do what they're going to do for the rest of their life and they'll die, doing it. It's funny. We always hear that quote from Warren Buffett: if you don't find a way to make money when you're sleeping, you'll work till you die. I know so many people that are going to do that. The retirement age has gotten further and further away. And so the next thing he said, pain of finances, pain of relationships. Do you guys ever think about relationships that you just thought they would be a part of your life forever? Like I think back to some people that I was thinking about as I was going through this. The Lord just kind of continued to bring people to my memory that they're just no longer in my life. And I've learned of, there is that old saying, people are in your life for a reason and a season for a lifetime. Some of the people, I looked at the people that have been in that were in Lisa and I's wedding. Very few of them are in our life. I mean, even some of the people that were on Lisa's side, are just not actively in our life. So he said the pain of expectation, expecting something to be easy, expecting your LifeVantage business to be easy. We all know that when you're changing technology, and I was telling Kurt about this. I know a friend of mine who became very wealthy, and his technology was Yellow Cab. He started at a very young age, and now he's struggling because of Uber. Technology is changing. Or like, knee surgeries. They tell you can run now, and then John talked about this, which was great. He's called the pain of being stupid. And he talked about how he travels, and he was given he was speaking at a church, and a young lady gave him a gun so that he could give to his wife to protect her while he was traveling. And he went on a private plane, put it in there, forgot about it, got ready to fly the next time, goes to the airport, checks in, and as his bag is going through the check, he says, "Hey, wait, there's a gun in my bag." And he went, "Oh, that's really stupid." And then he was arrested, okay? And he said, it was really stupid. He said when he got out, there was a lawyer there waiting for him. And he said, "John, we have to keep this quiet. We just can't tell anybody about this." He said, "It's too late." He said, "The guy that checked me in said, 'Oh, hey, John, I love your books.'" And John said to him, "Hey, I got it. If I sign all your books, will you get me out of this?" And he said, "That's bribery, John." He said he posted bail, but this is what he understood about this. He said he went home and he learned that being stupid hurts. Making stupid decisions hurts. And so I thought that was pretty awesome. And then he said, everyone has bad experiences, but nobody likes them. He said, raise your hand if you have a bad experience and you've liked it. And then he said, this was really cool. He said, and this is next on the sheet there. He said, very few people make experiences good experiences. Write this down. What we do with these are who we become. It's absolutely positively true. He said, how do you turn, and this is the next phrase there, how do you turn something dark into something bright? And I wrote this. He said, Warren Lester, write this down. Warren Lester said, success in life comes not from holding a good hand, but playing it well. Playing with what you're dealt, you know? You can't change what's dealt to you. You can't look back. You know, looking back is never good. You know, press forward. And so I thought that was awesome how he related that. And he said, he listed how to turn three things, how to turn pain into gain. Now, number one is right there. It says, choose a positive life stance. And then right underneath it, it says, a positive life stance is an overall frame of reference of your attitude, your assumptions, and your expectations about life, if you make them positive. And then he said there was 5 things, and you see them underneath there, about how to have what allows you to have a positive life stance. Okay, life is filled with good and bad. He said, no matter what you do, it's filled with good and bad. He said, some of the good and bad I can't control. Some I can, some I can't. 3, some of the good and some of the bad will find me. How many people know that, you know, taking a gun through TSA found John, right? You get busy, bad things find you. You know, I've been through many of them. This has been so enrichment. I hope you guys take this to heart and go back and read these things and let God examine your heart and your life with these things. They're just so profound. John is such a great teacher. You know, he's such a man of God and a great teacher. So number 4, if I have a positive life stance, the good and the bad will become better. Okay, think about that. If you have a negative life stance, the good and the bad will become worse. Therefore, this is what he said. I love it. Therefore, choose a positive life stance. Never give up. Never quit. And then number 2 on how to turn your pain into gain. And that's the next line down there. Embrace the value of bad experience. You know, we as you heard John say, we all go through bad experiences, whether it's a loss of a loved one or a loss of a job or, you know, a financial change. You know, y'all know me. I was not very good with money before. I made a lot of money in my life. I've been blessed to make a lot of money, but I've made a lot of bad decisions. But you know what? God has taught me that. And now I'm teaching a course on financial fitness. My wife has been very good at teaching me. I never kept a checkbook for 40 years, you know? So number 3 on how to turn your pain into gain. Embrace the pain, create creativity, okay? And then right underneath that, you look what it says. It says you can't be defensive and creative at the same time. Wow, think about that. You can't get defensive about a situation in your life and be creative about learning and growing from it. And he even said at the beginning of this, he said the law of pain is the most difficult, but it's the most important that we learn to grow from. He said this is the most important one. And he said he came up with 4 principles. He called them 4 pain principles. 1 is the first dot there. Pain brings reality to my life. It allows us to know that we're human, that God created us in his image, and that there's reality in that to my life. And then I put down, you know, he talked about a lady who had cancer, and she said, cancer will not define me. Cancer will not define me. God defined who I am. And then second pain principle allows me to reflect and evaluate me to make a positive change. We got to make positive changes. You know, I just went through a traumatic situation with resigning from coaching, and it's been very painful. Um, but it's created positive change. It just has. And you embrace that. Third, pain, it motivates me. It should motivate you. Pain should, John said we get up every day and make a decision whether to be depressed or be motivated, to be excited or just to be down in the dumps. I've never been more excited about being a part of something like we're a part of LifeVantage than I have before, ever. Lisa and I both are on the same page with that. We know where this is going. The people that are finally coming aboard, people that have even been in for a long time are starting to make some ground and make some things happen. And then fourth, John said, it humbles me. You know, think about it. God always says if you humble yourself, he'll raise you up, right? So when you go through these circumstances, does it make you prideful? Do you try to figure it out? We always want, when something bad happens or we're in a painful situation, we always want to try to rectify it. Sometimes it's just better to be humble and to let ourselves change. You know, I know certain areas in my life that I struggle with, but I continue to ask God to reveal those areas to me. You know, one of the things, and it's been a painful thing for me. I've realized that I can't want this business more for people than they want it for themselves. And Chris and I talk about this all the time. We have this burning desire to make a change, but we can't have that burning desire for other people. They have to have it for themselves. And I shared with Chris a short video that you guys are going to see probably at convention. I'm not going to go into it, but it's by a guy named Michael Jr. And he talks about your why. And you have to find out what your why is. A why, I believe, will get us through the pain that we're in. And so he said, he made a quote. He said, pain makes us a better person. He said, I've changed. This is a quote by Lexi Bernhardt. And here's what Lexi said. I've changed irrevocably, permanently. My heart and soul is fuller in brokenness than it ever was without being broken. Think about that one more time. I've changed irrevocably, permanently. My heart and soul is fuller in brokenness than it ever is without. And then I'm going to close with this. This was a great comment that John said, and you can look at the takeaway there. Your greatest growth is that you have the right response to it. Will be through the most difficult times in your life. And then John told this story that it just really got me and gripped me. He talked about this farmer who had a donkey, and the donkey fell in the well. And then he realized that, hold on one second. I'm going to stop sharing here just for 1 second. He realized that the donkey was sick and dying. His health wasn't done, and it wasn't great. And so he called his neighbors over to just shovel dirt on top of the donkey down in the well. And he said at first he started screaming and making loud noises. And before long, he didn't hear that anymore. And so he looked down, and then he realized what was going on. Every time a shovel of dirt went down on the donkey, every time a shovel of dirt went down, he was shaking it off and taking a step up. And another couple of shovels would go down, and he would shake it off and take a step up. And then after 10 or 15 minutes longer, or however long it took, he stepped out of the well. And so every time he just shook it off and took a step up. And guys, I think that's what we have to do in our businesses. I think that's what we have to do in life. I think about this journey I went through with getting myself back in shape and getting healthy again. Losing 25 pounds, I got 15 to go in the last 4 weeks of this contest. It's been painful. you know, getting and taking those pictures. My wife and I did it. It was painful, you know, but what we did is we've shook it off and we've stepped up and we've exercised and we're eating healthy. You know, we're getting that pain of, I'm honest with you, those pictures were painful, right, honey? They were painful. Yeah, we didn't want to look at them, but you know what? They were part of what's motivated us and driven us. So my challenge for you guys is to truly always find out what your why is. If you don't know what your why is, you're going to quit this business. If you're not tied into the system and attending events and getting on these calls, like when I look at the list of people who are on here now, these are people who are active. They're actively building their business. There a lot of people aren't even in my group, and I've done launch calls for them. I'm doing a meeting. I see Dr. Ivy on here. I'm doing a meeting for her on Saturday in her group. Guys, just embrace what we have. Embrace what's going on with people. You know, there's people from California on here, and Pennsylvania, and just in Georgia and Ohio, all over the place. Just embrace what we have going. Fight through that pain. I'm gonna allow you guys to unmute if you guys have some questions. But before you do that, what I wanted to remind you guys to do is that there's a lot of people that aren't registered for convention yet. If you haven't got tickets to John Maxwell, I would make sure that you do that now as soon as you can. I think Kathy's out of them, isn't she? Or does she have a couple more?
The last email I saw, she still had a couple, but that was about a week or so ago. So
okay.
I don't know.
So Kathy might have a couple.
Check with Daniel.
I would just check with Daniel and Kathy. We got several from them for some people in our group. But like I said, get yourself prepared. We're having it once every 18 months. It's a stretch, but you need to be there. You should be there. You got to change. It's one thing I always tell people. Attending events has allowed the pain of life and how challenging this business is to make it every bit of it worthwhile. So if you guys want to ask some questions, let's take just a couple minutes. And if you want to just unmute yourself. And Linda, did you have a question? I saw your hand was up. I'm guessing not. Anybody else? Comment, question, Janice? Do you want to comment?
Yeah, a couple of things, Michael. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Are we good?
That's better.
Okay. 2 points. One, just to tap on the back of what you were saying. You know, we've been talking about the laws of growth and as we go from week to week and how they support each other, tie in with each other. Well, I enjoy each week going back and listening to some of the bonus videos of what other network marketers have to say about that law. And today I was going back to the law of environment, and our own Seth Campbell was one of the speakers. And Seth was talking about the environment in which we choose to place ourselves. And one of the biggest things that Seth talked about was events. And he said, if you aren't putting yourself in that environment where you will be forced to grow, you're going to be surrounding yourself with people who are achieving what you want to achieve. And yes, it's embarrassing to go, man, I didn't make my goal again. I said I was going to do this and I didn't do it. And that's painful for us, tying in with the law of pain. But we've got to look at what environment are we putting ourselves into. And if it's an environment of growth, it's going to feel like sandpaper. We are going to be uncomfortable. It is important for us to accept everything that you've been saying about pain, that it is part of the growth process. I mean, even the Bible says iron sharpens iron. Well, daggum, that's not going to feel good. But the point is that if we start taking all of these laws we've been talking about and revisiting them and look at how they're weaving together like a tapestry, we will grow. We will become stronger. The other thing I wanted to mention is we were blessed with Barbara being in New Zealand to do her Sunday night call for her. And this past Sunday, the Lord just really had me talking to everybody about our whys and tying into some of the things that John Maxwell had talked about in the law of design about, is our picture big enough? Is our why big enough to force us to grow into it? And there were only a couple of people that were on the call, and most of the folks on this call weren't. So I'm going to share something that I shared Sunday, and I think it's a good way to close what Michael's talking about, because it's all about pain. And I took this from a blog I get from one of our own distributors out in Kansas, who is a retired psychologist. And she writes a blog that's called Decisive Moments. And this was her blog from Sunday. It's called Decision Points, The Final Mile. In 1952, Florence Chadwick stepped off of Catalina Island into the Pacific Ocean to swim to the California coast. It is 22 miles if one could swim in a straight line, but around 26 miles for most swimmers. As the miles piled up, Florence became tired and fog enveloped her. All she could see was her support boat. Florence wanted to stop, and her mother on the boat encouraged her to continue, but she was getting close. This gave her renewed strength for a while. However, she finally succumbed to the cold and exhaustion. She asked to be pulled from the water. Once on the boat, she learned that she was less than 1/2 mile from her goal. The next day, she told reporters, "All I could see was the fog. I think if I could have seen the shore, I would have made it." How many times have each of us lost sight of our goals and quit when we were almost there? How many times have we given up because of the pain we experienced when one last push would have gotten us to our goal? How many times have we allowed our doubts to grow at a critical time, sending us to defeat? As we approach our goals, it is critical that we keep the vision of our goal firmly in mind, are resolute in the pursuit of our goals, power our way through our doubts. Don't stop short. Pursue your goals relentlessly. And as Kathy always closes her blogs, learn from the past, live in the present, and decide for the future. So I hope that just kind of brings the closure, Mike, about the importance of not allowing the pain to stop us, but pushing through and coupling that with our why has got to be big enough to motivate us through the pain.
Absolutely, Janice. Thank you for sharing that. I just now kind of find out where those blogs are at, the extra videos. Lisa can kind of help me with that. So, guys, I hope you all have been encouraged tonight. I'm encouraged by these calls. I actually missed being on the one last week. Even though Lisa and I were having a lot of fun, I just missed doing these calls. I missed being on it. I'll be honest with you. It's great. The people that are on here, the people that aren't, they're going to miss it. And there's a lot of leaders that aren't on here, but they're going to miss it. And so, as I said, just if you guys have questions, if you want, I'm going to try to download next week's and put it on here for you guys so that you have it ahead of time. Janice is going to do the law of reflection, which is powerful. I rewatched it today, and I don't even know, Janice, the law of the ladder was the one today, and that's I know I see Jill is on. Jill's in Canada right now. I will be in Toronto the 16th through the 20th, doing some training and some meetings and a Super Saturday and getting some things going up there. So I just want to thank you guys for taking time out on a Thursday night. I'm honored and privileged to teach this, but I'm honored and privileged to lock arms with all of you and take this to $1 billion company. And I'm excited that I get to do it with you guys. So thanks for being on tonight. God bless you guys. Have a great rest of your week and week.